it's a matter of immediacy and the fact that this needs to happen quite soon.
Sarah Singh is concerned about her university's role in climate change, and she is not alone. As a member of the student group NYU Divest, Singh is a part of a larger group of students across the campus, the city, and the country working to divest their school's endowment from the fossil fuel industry.
It was the initiative of former students who found that it was immoral and antithetical to the cause of the university to be invested in fossil fuels.
In April 2015, the group was influential in getting the University Senate to pass a resolution favoring divestment. However, this resolution was not backed by NYU's Board of Trustees. This led to activism on the part of the student group, including the occupation of the Bops Library later that year. The occupation ended with the agreement that the group would be able to meet with a full Board of Trustees. This never materialized, though in June 2016, NYU President Andrew Hamilton and Board of Trustees Chair William Berkeley issued a memorandum to the NYU Senate effectively rejecting calls for divestment. It said in part, quote, "To accomplish the goals proposed in the Senate resolution would require us to invest only with firms that have renounced fossil fuel-related investments. This would significantly limit the choices we may make in investment managers, thereby limiting our ability to seek out the best long-term investment opportunities for the endowment." The memorandum also mentioned actions taken by NYU in improving its green technology and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Members of the Board of Trustees could not be reached for comment for this report. The memorandum left Singh and members of NYU Divest wondering if the full board was ever consulted.
This memorandum was signed by 2 people, and there was a question of whether or not there was a discussion from the entire board.
The group's current actions involve contacting individual members of the board. Elsewhere in the city, student divestment efforts have yielded different results. In January 2015, the new school resolved to divest completely from fossil fuels in an effort spearheaded by former student Benjamin Silverman.
I was elected to co-chair the Student Senate, so it kind of gave me a pretty powerful position to negotiate from. And from there, basically, I used that position to put on a handful of events around fossil fuel divestment, and then basically went through a relatively brief negotiation process. We had, hypothesized that if need be, we'll have to do some form of activism down the road. That just never came up.
Both the Board of Trustees and NYU Divest acknowledge the man-made effects of climate change. As NYU Courant Professor Edwin Gerber explains,
when you take out those anthropogenic forcings, mainly the greenhouse gases, you don't see that kind of a spike. It almost never happens when it's just natural. And when you put in the forcings, then you really do start to see what we've observed over the last 50 years.
For Singh, this is enough to explain the need for activism, as climate change will eventually affect everybody.
And it will impact people who feel like they will not be impacted, or those that can kind of push it back for a while. It still will happen eventually.
This is Dale Issip, reporting for NYU Now.